thank you guys for all coming. Good turnout tonight. So we'll jump right into this because the way that we've got them setting up, we're trying to get through the class part in 30 minutes, and then you guys have time. We've got some topic discussions to go over in the networking part of it that maybe you guys could share information with each other or share information on what the topic is, on kind of how you've done it, and just learn from each other as well. So I'm Amy Weisbender. I'm going to give you a really quick, I gave you a little longer version of my why. But I got into this because I'm super passionate about building wealth through real estate. It really gives you options. I come from a family that was very young. They were, I think when my mom had me, she was 22, and there's 3 kids, no high school diplomas, but they bought a house, and that house gave them options today. When they look at their retirement fund and they see their retirement fund going like this in the stock market, they can feel okay because they have a house that gives them options for equity, whether it's doing a reverse mortgage or whatever. So that's why I'm super passionate. I have rental properties that I purchased over the years, and it gave me options to leave my corporate job and come in and do this and train other people and share what I know. I don't know everything, but that's why Karin and I, when we met each other, we were both passionate about investing in real estate. We're like, let's share this with others and get people together to share information. Like, don't start from scratch and just try to learn it. Like, learn from others and then try what works for you. And so that's where we how long? Over a year we've had classes.
Yeah.
So a year and 2 months, I think. So I'll let you introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Karin Kallander, and I got into real estate investing in about 2015. My husband and I were both teachers. We had 4 kids, still have 4 kids, and we were 4 boys. We were just barely getting by, right? Like, just, barely getting by. And so I just started, this book, my brother-in-law told me about this book. And so I read the book, and I just started looking into real estate investing, and we bought our first property in 2015 in Florida in a gated community for $68,000. It's a really nice place for $68,000, right? It's crazy. But it just changed our lives because it gave us options, and it changed our mindset from fear-based to opportunity-based. And so then I really started to love real estate, and then became a realtor, and now just, really want to help people create options for themselves. So.
All right. A little disclaimer that we'll talk about tax things today and legal things, but we're not practicing CPAs or attorneys. We will have some of those people, though, coming to our future classes. So if you don't have our complete list of classes for the year, we've got that here. You can take home with you at the end. A little quote to get us going. This actually comes from the author of that book. The poor and the middle class work for the money. The rich have money work for them, so they can go skiing. High level, these are our Karin and I's 5 steps to successful real estate investing. And this class specifically, we'll dive into a few of these.
We have those here too.
Oh, you do want to hand out those?
Yeah. Do you want to raise your hand if you want one?
Because
I won't give one to everyone who has one.
So when I started working with newbie investors or people just getting into investing, or maybe they've been I call them accidental investors, like they inherited a property, or they wanted a bigger house, but they kept their other property because they just didn't want to sell it. They couldn't get the money they wanted, right? When I started working with them, one of the things they're like, okay, I want to do this, but how do I get started? Like, there's so many ways to invest. So I put together kind of a step-by-step process that we're going to go through on how do you find and analyze your rental property. That seems to work for many. because a lot of people are like, well, I see on this headline I should buy in this city, or I see this news article, the best deals are over here, right? I would definitely steer you away from that because everyone else is seeing that article. So probably the likelihood of you being the only one who tries to do that in the amount of time before it not becomes a deal anymore is pretty high. So we're going to go through that today, and we're going to have some interaction. So number one is define your why. I threw up on here some reasons why people say, okay, today I want to invest in real estate. But I'd like to hear from you guys. What are your whys?
I want to be a little more financially dependent and not necessarily have to work for 9 to 5 for the rest of my life, and be able to retire knowing that I'll consistently have fun. I don't have to worry about saving up my entire life and not have fun while I'm young. So
Okay, that's good. So you're looking for money when you're closer to when you're ready to retire to have cash flow at that time, and
try to
yeah.
reduce stressful work and have a little bit more relaxed life.
Okay. I agree with what you said. Just diversify the investment, right? So it's not all in the stock market, but you've got something invested in real estate. Also, the chance just to run a show to get another income stream where I'm not asking permission. Yeah, I was happy to start my own business for that reason too, leaving corporate America. All right, anyone else want to share theirs? Freedom to do what you want. Yeah, to go skiing. That's right. I would say my why right now, and it's I don't know if you can see. I don't think you can see it on this, but there is a dog in the background. I can only see it on mine. It's too light. So my why right now, as I plan my next investment property, is different than when I first started investing. Mine right now is a tax strategy. So where my properties are and cash flow and all of that, if I don't buy something soon, it'll all just go to the government. So I would rather use that money and keep it in my pocket. And then the second, and the reason why there's a little dog on here that you guys can't see is that, so Karin and I do these investor consultations, and they're like a one-on-one free 1 hour. We kind of lock down with you, asking you certain questions, to help you document your strategy. And so I was all over the place, like most new investors, like, oh, maybe I should go and buy in Florida, and maybe I should buy, in Kansas where my other properties are. Maybe I should just buy here. I'm out with other clients. Maybe I'll find something I want. I was all over the place. So I was like, Karin, I know I tell people that they should do this with me, but I need you to do it with me. So I sat her down, and especially my husband, he's actually in the front row here, because we're very different, very different. So I was like, well, this will be good because we have kids. We don't get to talk as much as we like. So we sat down, and one of the things that we determined, so we were very, at the end, very defined. We want a short-term rental in Kansas that has a yard for our dogs. So that's what's done. So it could be is that. I mean, it's not just money that drives people. So the first step here is, before you even get started, is to define your why. And I would encourage you not to just say for money, because if that's too generic, you're probably never gonna get anywhere. But if you're saying, I want money by the time I want this cash flow by the time I'm 40, I want this appreciation for this, I need to buy college for my kids. So I want a rental property that's shooting me cash to pay tuition by the time they get to college. You're going to be more successful. What's your why on your next one? I guess you talked about the beginning too.
Yeah, well, and we just bought our second one. And our why is, cash flow for college. We've got one in college and then another one coming. So,
yep. Okay, so then the next step after you know your why is to find your where. So, do quality tenants want to live here? What are the crime stats, neighborhood, amenities, schools, employment? Can I effectively manage it there? When I was looking at Florida a few years ago personally, one of the things I was like, oh, I I don't have the network in Florida to manage this and feel good that I'm managing my property. So it didn't work out. Now I have a lot of people that are suddenly in the Tampa area that I know, and now it's becoming something I'm looking at again. Will it be rentable in the future? What are the upcoming developments, job opportunities, homeowners to rentals? You know, is this recession proof? If we know, we all know we're headed there. So is there still going to be reasons for people wanting to rent your place? Do you want to live there in the future? I have one property that I bought because I want to live there in the future, and I want someone else to buy it for me. Do you want to use it too? We have a lot of people who want short-term rentals because they want to go skiing and then make some money too. So those are help you define your where first. And then define your what. So a lot of times when new investors come to me, they're like, well, tell me the deals. What is the best property to get the most money? And it's not that simple. You can really make money on any type of property in any place. And it's been proven. So the first is to figure out your what. And as I look at all these different places on here, I'm a CPA. I'm not a practicing CPA, so dollars. I'm a dollar person. So I look at these on the screen and I'm thinking dollars of repairs. Are these high repair, low repair properties? You may not look at it that way. Like brick. Oh, brick. I don't have to paint it. That's a plus, right? I also consider what's insurance going to cost me. You know, the pictures on the water, probably high insurance there, right? The cute townhomes in the corner, like they appear to be old, so things are probably going to break down if they're not already been fixed up by a prior owner. Arizona, we actually have a property in Arizona, and I was like, oh, this would be great. I don't have to pay all these landscaping costs. And I had no idea. I got into it. I pay $125 or $120 a month for landscaping services in Arizona. So you have to do your research. And I bought it because I was more interested in living there in the future than doing all my homework. So, you know, whether it's a 1-bedroom to a 20-plex, any of those can make money if you do your due diligence up front. So once you've figured out your where and what, you set up your search and you get out there, and then you analyze. And that's what we're going to cover. I'm going to walk you through some examples of a spreadsheet that we have. Really, there's 4 ways to make money in real estate: appreciation, cash flow, principal pay down that's paid by your tenants, and tax savings. And so I encourage everyone to kind of set, you know, sometimes your why defines this for you. Like if you need cash flow for something, your why will help you define which of these is important for you. But our spreadsheet that we're going to show you here in a second will help you know what the numbers are for all 4 of these. And you will be getting this spreadsheet so that you guys can use it on your own after class.
Well, and sometimes like for our second property we just bought, our goal is cash flow, but we're not cash flowing yet. You know, our goal is to get there, which is going to take us a year or 2. So, you know, just being aware of what your goal is, but it may take longer to get there.
Yeah. Yep. Especially short-term rentals. Those are,
yeah.
First year in short-term rentals are tough.
Exactly. But if you don't buy it, you'll never get there.
Exactly. These are the homes we're going to look at. Oh, why is that so? Okay. So I'm going to kind of show you just random. One, I actually, an agent in my office who's here with one of her friends gave me her listing. She's like, oh, I've got a listing Golden. You can run that. I was like, okay, let's do it. And this is actually, have you guys heard of Gulfport, Mississippi? This is actually Long Beach, Mississippi. Anyone heard of that? Yeah, I just learned of it this week, and it looks pretty nice. And then this up here is a duplex in Wheat Ridge. I actually sent one of my clients to look at. Okay. There you go. Okay. So this is the analysis sheet that you get out of it. I'm going to show you in a second how you input into it. But it's going to show you all the metrics that you need. And if you go and like that button, so kind of in one page view, you're going to be able to see what your returns are. And so down here is where it calculates out your cash flow before tax, appreciation, your reduction in loan balance that hopefully the tenant's paying for, and tax shelter income that's not taxed. So there's a portion of your net income that doesn't get taxed on your returns due to depreciation, if anyone's not aware of that. So you get the cash, you don't pay any tax. So this number right here is based on your tax rate times that portion you're not getting taxed on. So all of this is here to kind of see for this property, is this a good deal for me or not? We also have a view that shows over 5 years, what does it look like for me? And then as well as what is your tax saved or owed down here. So all you have to do is plug in the numbers on this input sheet and it calculates it for you. And the reason why we have current and potential is because sometimes it's already rental, right? So you want to put what they're currently getting in there. Then you want to do your due diligence to find out, well, first, if they're even telling you the right amount. But you go to the house, you look, you see what market rent rates are, and we can help you with all of this. And then you determine, what could I get? And I'll show you this other example because it's the one I meant to pull up first. There we go. So this duplex is in Wheat Ridge. You guys know where the Tennyson Shops area is here in Denver? It's a really cute area. And so it's not too far from that. It's west. It's in Wheat Ridge. So it's a duplex. And I think the building is kind of naturally going that way. And so I pulled this one up to look at it to see what the numbers were. And it's rented and they provided their rental income. And if you bought it at the list price and you bought it and you had that rent, which was way under market value, you would be not doing too great. I mean, you could make some on appreciation because we're appreciation state, but that's not always guaranteed, right? So your cash flow is pretty not great here. So then once you go in, you do your analysis, once you see the house, you determine, is there some things I can change to either increase what I get for rent, things I can fix to minimize my expenses, those kind of things. And you can plug all that into this and do a potential. And that's what the other one is. So if I actually offered $650 and I actually charged market rents, and I spent $25,000 up front to fix up the property, then the numbers look a little better. It's actually cash flow positive barely in the first year. So that's how this spreadsheet works. There's a current tab and a potential tab. And then you also have your potential 5-year view as well. And typically, in the commercial world, typically things are looked at in 5 years. If you like to see longer than that, I've got some other tools that I can show you that can give you a longer viewpoint. That's typically how investors work for 5 years. A lot of times that's loan dependent because you get a 5-year fixed, and then you reevaluate, is this property working for me or not, and then kind of analyze it again. So here's the input tab so you can see it. And we've got this all locked down so you can't mess up formulas or anything. Everything in blue is what you can enter. So as you go down, there we go. So you enter your information up here. You're going to enter the current price, and after you look at it, if you determine, or as you're doing your analysis to see what numbers work tell you to get the numbers that you want. You put that in the potential price. You need to put what your down payment is. You put the monthly income, currently what it's getting, and then monthly income, potentially what it could get based on market rents. And we have a tool, Rent-A-Meter. You know, some of you have heard of that. We both subscribe to it, and we can run properties for you. It's a starting point. What you get out of it is, real quick. So it does a comp of rents, and it shows you what are the trends, what in this for this specific area that you're looking at for this house. You put the address, you put how many bedrooms and bathrooms in it, and then it gives you some stats, and then it actually gives you the comps. So then you can pick, you know, that neighborhood. You're like, oh, that house is really not a comp for it. I'm not going to use that number. You can pick the numbers down below that you can choose from. But this Rent-A-Meter tool is just one way you should look at it, because it's only as good as the data going in. And there's not a good kind of central way of tracking rental data here in Colorado. I know in Arizona, like all rentals go through the MLS there, and so their data is better in Arizona than it is here. So consider that. You also want to look, what's your competition, right? Go to Zillow, go to the places that people search for properties, and look, what am I competing against, and what rent do I think I can get? The other is talk to a property manager that is on the grounds, right? That knows month to month it changes for rents, and so know what because even this data might be old based on the market shift, right? So all those should be play into your market number, and we can help with that. This is the wrong one. Any questions? I feel like I'm just blabbing up here. I keep clicking on the wrong thing. Okay. And then some of these you won't, you know, other income and RUBS income, they're usually more for the fourplexes and bigger. So that's like when the utilities are shared, sometimes you can pass that back out to the tenants. Could be a coin-operated laundry facility, storage units. What else, Brenton? Other income that you can get on rentals.
Signage, cell phone towers,
Garage.
parking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Parking's a big one.
Yeah.
A lot of times that can give you enough opportunity to hit the numbers that you want for your property. And then you put in down below just all the current. If you know current from the seller, you can put that in there. You can do your own little research. And then potential, what you think. So maybe the current landlord doesn't charge, or doesn't charge for utilities, or doesn't have their tenants pay for utilities. So you look at their financials and it's all these utilities, but you plan to make the tenants pay for the utilities. So that would be the difference between current and potential here. And you can add to some numbers down here. And then you want to put, if you want to do management fee, maintenance, repairs, and reserves, those are usually just calculated as a percentage when you're analyzing property. Management fees, just so you know, long-term rental manager is typically 10%. If you've got several properties, you can get 8%. I've got one that's lower than that, but it's a special situation. And then short-term rental, you can probably answer that the best. You were just getting tons of quotes on that. What'd you end up paying for that, for yours?
20.
20.
In the mountains, it's premium, usually 25. 20% is like more normal urban. I've heard as low as 18%, but nickel and diamond down.
Yeah.
You tend to get what you pay for, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want someone, short-term rental is really hands-on. You want someone you trust.
Yeah, they mess up one time and your listing
Big time
is
loss.
ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a short-term rental that I manage myself. It's a lot of work. So I've managed long-term and I've managed short-term myself, and yeah, short term's way.
And I
more
have a
expensive.
short-term rental that I pay 25% because it's in Tennessee. And when the pipes froze in December and I was on vacation and I didn't have to deal with it at all, it was so worth the 25%.
Yes. I stopped doing long term when we got the toilet call when we were on vacation in Hawaii. Don't want to deal with toilets from Hawaii. All right, so then over here on the other side is you put all your closing numbers in here. And so you work with your lenders to put this in there for your specific situation. And then there are assumptions here that you can put whatever you want. So I think this one has that rent increases are going to increase 2% a year. Annual expenses for all of your expenses that you're putting in here is 3%, which we all know that's probably a little higher right now. And then annual appreciation, what you think. So Denver in the last 30 years has averaged 6% appreciation, even through the bad times. But we know that number is probably not gonna, well, I don't know actually. The last 2 weeks were, I didn't even get to look at a house with one of my buyers because they're like, sorry, we have 9 offers, we're
Yep.
closing showings down. So
We went 30,000 over to get under contract this weekend. So
Yeah.
we are definitely seeing a complete and sudden shift. We'll see how long it lasts, but we were smart to buy in December.
Yeah,
Time's usually a smart time to buy.
It is. Yep.
yeah, the best time to buy is when other people are busy doing other things. So think about that, like Christmas, Thanksgiving. If the Denver Broncos are doing good,
Yeah.
that's when you want to be out. Like you want to be out because that's when other people aren't. So, but yeah, so we're probably going to have, we're definitely going to have appreciation this year. Even with the correction that last year we ended the year appreciating. So, and that's a big play. Like I have properties in Kansas and they don't really appreciate, although they did the last 2 years lately. So I was pretty excited about that. But they give me more cash flow. So you kind of have to figure out what drives you and then go. And then like you mentioned, diversify your rental properties too. So if one it's not doing so well, you've got another one that's pulling you through. And then if you are going to do updates, so you're going to refresh the bathrooms or fresh paint, carpet, you're going to put in easy carpet that can last a long time, so you don't have to replace it. All these expenses. You never want to go and get the fancy stuff. You want to get the good quality, least expensive. So it can't be super cheap because it'll run out too. So, but put that in here because that's part of the analysis. If I can get it to this level, when you're looking at the comps, you can kind of look what the conditions are. If I get it to this level, I'll get this much in rent. And put that in here, and that's it. You plug in these blue ones and you get your numbers. And then if you don't like the numbers, you go back and you're like, okay, I'm gonna try you can do a different lending situation. Maybe you look at the 5-year, if you're only planning to hold this property for 5 years, then why not get the 5-year ARM with a lower interest rate to hit your numbers? Or you can say, well, what if we got 17% like that one year? What does that look like? Okay, that's makes these numbers pretty big. That's great. So, or what if I reduce the price further? What if I offer lower? What does that look like? And how does that affect my numbers? So that's this duplex. On this duplex, I'm thinking appreciation just because how the popular area is growing out in Denver, and then location to I-70 and 38th. So for this property specifically, I think it's already under contract. I just looked right at
one side
this.
or is it both sides?
Both sides.
Okay.
Yeah, and it came on last week, and I just looked at it. I looked at it to pull the sheet on it today, and it's already under contract. But brick, simple, square. I like simple squares. Anytime you have angles, right, that costs money. You get a roof replaced on a little square box. way cheaper than something that's fancy with lots of angles. So this was a good opportunity. Just found it on the MLS, right? Because that will be a big time, I think. And the other thing with this one that attracted me, in Wheat Ridge, you can get short-term rental license. Most areas are currently like sold out of them. But you know, if someone stops theirs, then you can be on a list to get a short-term rental. So it gives you more options. So that's why I like this one.
What are they going?
You don't know till it closes. Yeah. But I'm gonna look.
For you
I'm
younger
curious.
people, first-time home buyers, and live in one side and rent out the other.
And then the next one, how are we doing in time? Okay.
I think we're probably over.
Clock on your computer.
Oh, is it?
It's almost like 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh,
It's
we are over.
6:36.
Okay, well, do you guys, I guess I can go through another one, or do you guys just want to mingle and chat?
So are you going to share this with them? How is that?
The spreadsheet?
Yes.
Yeah. So why don't we get everyone's, if you didn't sign up on, actually, let's have everyone sign up
On
just
this
to make
one?
sure we don't miss it. Like, get your email on here. We'll get you.
Oh, that's mine.
That's hers. Do you
Oh,
want to
that's
sign up on
yours. I
hers?
thought that was ours. Okay.
There's
Well,
paper on top of it.
yeah, you want to just
Okay,
grab a sheet?
yeah, I'll just
We'll
grab a
get during the
sign up.
networking. We'll get your email. We'll send you the spreadsheet so you guys can start using it. And then if you want to, like I said, if you want to do the consultation with Karin and I, it's an hour. It's free, no obligation. It just helps you kind of identify where do you want to start, and then you kind of take it from there. And then if you need help as you're analyzing properties, we're happy to help with that too.
And we can help you. We can meet with you, even if you're going to buy in Wisconsin or, you know, wherever. We can help you identify your goals and then, you know, hook you up with somebody who can help you
Yeah.
in your
And if you're
local
interested
region.
in the Long Beach property, I can tell you about it. I think it's a good deal. And then the Golden one, I think the Golden one's good for a parent who's got kids going to mines. I think that one's a good deal. So we can walk through that after. Our next class is April 12th. So if you're interested in that, we'll get that to you.